The Josh Hartnett resurgence, it's real! Here's the newest chapter of it. Alright, let's see how quickly we can fast track this review. So Fight or Flight stars Josh Hartnett. He's a former agent slash wreck of a human being. His former colleague, played by Katie Sackhoff, gets him on this plane in which there's a target that he needs to apprehend alive. But he doesn't know who this target is. Only thing is, on this plane, there are a bunch of mercenaries here to kill the target. He doesn't know who the mercenaries are. Nobody knows who this target is. Explaining it out loud, it kind of sounds like some sort of cinematic variant to the game Werewolf, if you've ever played that. Anyhow, action movie madness ensues that all takes place in this commercial flight. It's a flight that takes place between Bangkok and San Francisco, so it's a really big plane, a lot of space to move around. And I mean it about the Josh Hartnett resurgence, man. He works in this movie, and he works for us, the audience. He was the cool kid back in the 90s, the cool guy in the 2000s. Now he's the chill dad we're just kind of rooting for. He works in the same way Keanu Reeves works for John Wick. Yeah, Keanu had the Matrix movies under his belt, but there's something else entirely about being the biggest badass assassin in any room. And it works because he has that chill, cool guy energy. It's the contrast between the chill vibe of the guy and the job of being a badass assassin. I see a little bit of that with Josh Hartnett being cast in this movie. I think that's what's working for Josh Hartnett right now. This movie doesn't waste your time, also leans into its strengths. If it sounds like some sort of 90s fever dream action movie, it kind of is, and it knows that. Leans into that. In terms of vibe, think Executive Decision and Bullet Train went splat. Bit of Passenger 47 in there too. Point is, it's like Bullet Train meets 90s movie on a plane. Even has that Bullet Train vibe where everything, the action, the characters, just a little exaggerated. The mercenary assassin characters have some sort of comic book character-ism to them. They have a thing that makes them stand out. More shaky cam than I like. That kind of bothered me. I do get why shaky cam became past tense a thing. It was this shaky camera technique that made everything feel a little more intense. You were supposed to feel the adrenaline that's happening in the room with the characters. That was a hot new thing for about 5 work days. And then at a point, the glaze of that wore off, and now we're just like, yeah, I'd like my action sequences not so shaky and framed up, thanks. This movie's like, yeah, but shaky cam. Not as annoying as I've seen it in other movies, but enough for me to be like, yeah, you could have done without it. And the way the movie, not ended, that's not the problem, but the way the last act of the movie was, feels like in the pitch room, someone was like, all right, sir, that's the way we've all devised for the last act of this film to go down. Which scenario did you like best? A, B, C, D, or E? Yes. But which one did you like best? Yes. Okay. And they just kind of did it all. I will say some of the script, when the movie starts out, there's this one character who just has what my mom in the 90s would call a limited vocabulary. I'm not above the cursing and the F-bombs, you know that, but you gotta make it stylistic, you gotta make it punch. Gotta keep it feeling special. This guy was kind of like a junior high student. I was like, so the F word is the only thing you can say to illustrate or emphasize your point. I'm just saying, when you curse too frequently and too often, it just feels, well, lame. So you thought I was gonna say fucked, didn't you? You gotta keep people on their toes. Look, in the end, I had a fun time with Fight or Flight. Josh Hartnett's relatable as ever. I have no doubt he's part of what makes this actually work. The action was madness. It leans into its 90s premise as the action movie it should be. Even though the last act did get a bit messy, I had myself a really fun time with this one. No alcohol required. All right, so Fight or Flight. It's actually one of the more clever names I've heard lately for a movie. But have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.